Hey there! This segment is a clip from my full live show, Harry Dating Combos, that I do every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific. If you want to watch it live, see the full episode, and even ask me questions in real time, head over to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Harry Wilmington. Also, if you're serious about leveling up your dating life, check out my Get Girls Academy, the membership program packed with my best programs and coaching to help you get real results with women. Get full access with a free 7-day trial at harrywilmington.com. The link is in the description. We had a question in the chat. The question goes, Coach, I've been dating 2 girls for several months. I'm always good about keeping things in order at my house. But the other day, one of them came over and found a condom wrapper in my living room. Oh, dude, you gotta be more careful about that stuff. I was so shocked that I had literally left it in the open, especially after I cleaned my whole house prior. After that day, I noticed everything was off. A week later, we had a meetup, and she basically hit me with the, yeah, I just don't think it's going to work. I was so disappointed. I told her it's not what I wanted and to let me know if she changed her mind. It just sucks because she was really good to me. She said, quote, I can't really say anything because we weren't official. True. So I said, well, you never brought it up. And she said, neither did you. It was a mature goodbye. None of us overreacted and left it like a, well, take care, blah, blah, blah. I feel emotionally she is pretty healthy, so this might be for good. What do you think? The girl I was dating for about 10 months and saw each other once a week. So there's a lot to unpack here. For starters, yeah, guy, you got to be more careful. Like, here's the thing. It's not that women aren't aware that you're potentially dating other people. Ideally, a woman thinks, okay, he matched with me, we're dating, but he could be seeing other people, right? It's the thing, though, of like when it gets pushed in their face, they have to acknowledge it. I've learned this from women, right? Women have a really good way of denying reality. Like, they'll know a situation, but on the conscious of their mind, everything at the forefront of the mind is like, that's not a thing, doesn't exist, not happening, right? And as long as you don't bring it to their attention that, no, this is the reality of a thing, they will live in the world of delusion for as long as you let them. At the point that you bring out tangible things or proof that reality is not what she's trying to make it to be, that's when you lose. So she could be fully aware or have the idea that you're banging other chicks. At the point that she saw the condom wrapper, it now becomes a reality that she can't deny. And now it's upsetting because she liked denying reality. She liked thinking that you could potentially have other women and that she had competition, but she didn't want to see tangible proof that that's a thing. And something like a condom lets her know your stuff is definitely going in other women. And that's a hard thing for women to get past once it's been brought to the forefront. So that's a you problem. You got to get better at not leaving things around. And I get it. You thought you got it, but these are things that happen when you're hooking up with a lot of chicks. Real talk, you know? So on that end of things, that part sucks. For the other part where you ask me about what do I think in terms of whatever. So here's the thing. For one, you guys were dating for 10 months. I have found usually around the 3-month mark, a woman will try to bring up the conversation in some way. So I don't know if this happened here and maybe you missed it or just legitimately didn't happen. As I teach on this channel, women will start saying things like, so I took myself off the dating apps, or so, my girlfriends were curious, like, are you seeing other people, or what are we, or where is this going, or so are we just F buddies, like what's going on? They'll usually ask some kind of question that's indicative of taking it to be like, oh, you should take this to start having a conversation about being in a relationship. So if in 10 months that didn't come out at all, then the other thing that can happen is sometimes if you're dating women, this is a rare case, but bear with me now, right? There's rare instances where if you're dating a woman and you don't say anything and she doesn't say anything, the woman will just assume we've been together for so long, I'm just assuming we're in a relationship. And they'll take that, again, no words have been said, no conversations have been had. They'll just assume it. So when something like that comes up, they're going to feel extra butthurt because they're thinking, but it's been 10 months. Like, at the very least, I thought we were exclusive. So then the question becomes, okay, if you're not bringing up the conversation and she's not bringing up the conversation, how does the conversation happen? And here's how I found to get past that part, because you don't know what she's thinking, right? Let's say you're going to go to an event where she's going to meet some of your friends, right? Before the event, let's say this is like month 5, right? And she's finally going to meet the friends. So you can say to her, hey, so I want to take you to meet some friends of mine, but I don't know how to introduce you. How would you like me to introduce you? Now that is putting it in her court. And she might say something like, well, I mean, how would you want to introduce me? Or she might say a few things. She'll either say that, or she'll say, well, I thought we've been dating for a long time. Like, how about as your girlfriend? But if she doesn't say that, if she's like, well, I mean, how would you want to introduce me? And you could say, well, I mean, I don't know. We've been seeing each other for a while. Like, we haven't talked about titles, but like, what title should I give you? Like, you're still leaning it towards, you're giving her the say to be like, what should I give you? Should I just say, hey, this is so-and-so? Should I say, hey, this is my good friend? Should I say, this is my girlfriend? Like, what title would you want me to put on this? And then that still puts it in her court to say, I mean, you can just say my name, or, I guess you could say I'm your girlfriend, at which point you would say, okay, cool, then I'll say as such. Boom. Now you've had the conversation without having to necessarily, like, you being the one saying, well, what are we? This is that. But 5 months, 6 months in, most women are already getting the feeling and making assumptions about things. And this is where people get in trouble, is the assuming aspect, right? So that's why I tell you guys, typically by month 3, women are going to want a finite understanding of what's going on. If it's been like 10 months, that's kind of where it gets to like, okay, there's got to be a way for you to bring this up without directly saying, hey, be my girlfriend, but simply putting the inquiry of like, hey, we're going to meet people. And so like, when I introduce you, like, how should I introduce you as what? And then they'll let you know, because girls let you know, oh, you can, well, I mean, we haven't talked about it, or, well, I mean, I feel kind of like this, or, but just say, like, they'll let you know. And then whatever they tell you to introduce them as, just be like, okay, cool. Don't be butthurt if she doesn't want to be introduced as the girlfriend. But if she does say, introduce me as the girlfriend, also don't be overly excited. Be like, okay, cool. If that's what you want. Now, if you weren't wanting her as the girlfriend, then let's be real, guy. Women are going to only date you for so long without having a title before they want some kind of title. And so 10 months in, most women, again, are wanting a title by month 3. If you were cool just being hookup buddies or whatever, that's fine. But if she wasn't cool with that and wanted a title and saw the condom wrapper as an indication that you weren't going to ever be serious about her, she's fully in her right to go after what she wants if that's a relationship. That not having made a conversation, I will say this, at the point that she brought up where she said, let's see. Oh, wait, I got to go scroll up a little bit. Hold on a second here. She said, I don't think it's going to work. I was disappointed, blah, 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 blah. And then she said, I can't really say anything because we weren't official. I would say this. At the point that she said, I can't really say anything about anything because we weren't official, rather than you saying, well, you never brought it up, I would have said something like this. I mean, that's true, but like, wait, based on your reaction, are you saying that you wanted this to be official? Like, were you thinking that you wanted things to go in that vein? Because I didn't have intel about that. Are you saying that's something that you wanted? At which point, maybe she would have said, I mean, I had thought about it and I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to be that girl that, rushed into a relationship, but I kind of thought about it. At which point you could have turned this ship around and been like, okay, if you wanted her as the girlfriend, you could have turned the ship around and been like, okay, well, you know what? That's new intel to me. And I didn't know that. And so the only reason I was seeing other people still was because I thought maybe you were doing the same. And so I thought I needed to do the same because I didn't want to pin you down if that's not what you wanted. But it sounds like maybe that's what you wanted. And if so, maybe we should have a conversation about what that would have looked like. Boom. Now you're in the conversation about what that would have looked like. And then at the end you can say, I mean, based on what we're saying here, it seems like we want the same stuff, whatever. Like, I'm not really all that interested in other girls. I just thought, again, that's something that I had to do. But it seems like you're wanting something, and I'm wanting something similar. Why don't we see what that looks like? Boom. You would have been in a relationship versus completely throwing it away. At this point, it's one of those things where I have found if she has any kind of feeling left at all or is changing her mind, I'd say there'd be a good 2 to 3 month window where within that 2 to 3 months, she'll give you a call. She'll reach out. And she's not going to reach out and be like, I think we should talk about our relationship, blah, 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 blah. She's going to say some stuff like this. Hey, or just wanted to see how you're doing. Or I left something in your car and I really need to get it back. Can we meet up? It's going to be anything other than we need to talk about our relationship, blah, 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 blah. But if she reaches out to you at all in any capacity, it means she wants to see you, at which point you just figure out a way to make that happen and then see where things go from there. So that's the best I can give you at this moment in time. But by all means, keep me posted because I love to see follow-ups to stories like this to see where things have gone since I first talked about it. Let's see if there's any other things he mentioned here. He said, I agree. I'm so good at keeping things clear. I think it was almost like, all right, dude, let's see how much you can get away with. She did everything well, high interest, etc. But I feel like I just kind of kept her at arm's length, but maybe not. Well, you got to ask yourself why that was. Like, were you thinking this could actually be a relationship? Were you thinking she was too good for you? Were you thinking that you needed more time? Were you thinking like, hey, she would just be a cool F buddy? And then you realized, oh, I actually have feelings for her, or maybe not. Were you banging other girls that you thought could be better prospects? Like, there's no right or wrong reasoning. You have to really sit down with yourself and ask yourself like what all that's about, you know? He says, yes, I feel she thought that just to mature together without the talk because everything else showed great interest. Yeah, women, that's what I tell you. Women, when they like you, they can't hide how much they like you. Like we think women that are still figuring it out are trying to hide stuff. I just found women that have a high interest are never trying to hide their intentions. They're never trying to give maybes. They're never trying to, hide motions that they're doing that indicate interest. Like that's just not happening, And so you got to ask yourself, like, if she was showing you all the stuff, what was it about her that maybe you weren't completely sure about? And then figure out what that was that made you go 10 months and like you guys never had a conversation. And some of her end too. She needs to think about why is she never brought it up on her end. Just saying. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Harry Dating Convos. Don't forget to visit harrywilmington.com to download my free ebook, Texting Women Like a Boss. And while you're there, if you're ready to take things to the next level with your dating life, check out the Get Girls Academy membership program for exclusive strategies and live coaching. Go to harrywilmington.com to learn more and join today. Lastly, if you've got a question you'd like answered on one of these shows, leave a comment below or write me at harrywilmington@gmail.com. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.